Have you ever suspected that there are other worlds out there? And out of all those other worlds, the one you're in is just a miserable dead end? What if, just behind reality lies a secret passage to take you through these other worlds? Would you be able to leave it all behind and take that leap forth into the truth? Our libraries are filled to the brim with all sorts of stories like these. However, they all serve to detract from the one story that's actually true, a legend that speaks of the Valley of Kings. These are the opening lines to the adult animated series, Lastman. So remember that cool opening from a few seconds ago? Yeah, forget about that, but like at the same time don't? It's weird, but I'll explain later. Last Man is a French adult animated series released all the way back in 2016. It's a series filled to the brim with a lot of action, explosions, and insanity. But in the middle of all that is a show that has a really good story behind it. Last Man follows the life of Richard Aldena, residing in the also corrupt Pax City, a city where every vice can be satisfied as long as you have the money to seek them out. But there's a dark secret to the city. Among the normal humans who reside in it are demons masquerading as humans. Demons from another dimension. How did they get here? Well, around 10 years before the start of the series, a man by the name of Howard Mackenzie was obsessed with the idea of alternate worlds, specifically the aforementioned Valley of Kings. His obsession had led him to somehow open a portal and summon these demons into their world, possessing random everyday folk. These demons are referred to as kinglets, according to the subtitles. So Howard and his brother Dave took it upon themselves to eliminate each and every kinglet in hiding. Well, that was their mission until Dave came across one possessing a literal child. Having a change of heart, Dave took the girl in and put his demon hunting days behind him. But wait, what does this all have to do with Richard? Well, Richard was a boxer part of Dave's gym. The two were pretty close, Richard looking up to Dave as a source of inspiration. That is until shit hits the fan one day. Dave gets gunned down by a mysterious group right in front of Richard, and in a quest to find answers, he finds Dave's adopted daughter Siri, who is also being hunted down by this mysterious group. The two are able to make it out safe for now, but are never quite out of danger because the group will stop at nothing to find Siri to achieve whatever mysterious goals they have. It's a really gripping story filled with a lot of mysteries and amazing plot twists. But we're going to forget about that for now and focus on a surprisingly fun mafia story, where Richard getting roped in with the mafia, who basically run the city and get into all sorts of hijinks as he tries to survive the life of a mobster while juggling demon hunting as well as learning to be a proper guardian for Siri. And we're also going to put that on the side too because now it's a boxing tournament arc filled with all sorts of shonen goodness that you know and love. If I haven't made it clear by now, Last Man does a lot in terms of story, jumping from one story beat to another throughout its 26 10-minute episode run. At first I kind of found it annoying because it felt like the series didn't have any real focus and was just distracted, with story beats coming and going at a rapid pace. We'd get major plot reveals at the end of an episode, only to switch things up and have our main character in prison having a boxing match against literal... yeah. While this could be seen as a problem in other shows and even anime, Last Man does this better by leaning into its absurd nature and actually having these story arcs be pretty damn entertaining. We get so much development in the span of 26 episodes that run for 10 minutes each, so when you do the math, it turns into 13 full-length episodes. An amazing feat that a lot of shows can't even pull off with double the runtime. So the more you spend time with the show, the characters especially, the more the show grows on you. You slowly come to see what it's trying to do as well as how connected the story beats are. It also helps that the show is pretty damn fun too, with some amazing comedic timing that makes every joke hit. It actually makes slapstick violence funny too, a rare thing for adult animated series. While the story is great, it's made even better by the characters. All the characters are incredibly selfish in their own ways. This is fitting thanks to the setting of the series, Pax Town, a city where those that are willing to claw their way to the top using whatever means necessary are the ones that are actually successful. And it reflects a lot on the main and side characters. Everyone has their own personal goals that they just want to accomplish no matter what. Like at the very start of the series, we watch this woman watch her toxic boyfriend blow up, and what does she do immediately after? Make a call to accept a job offer that was presented to her without even looking the slightest bit sad at her boyfriend's untimely demise. This character also goes on to be a pretty important one as the series goes on. And that's the other thing. A lot of the side characters are pretty reoccurring, making them feel a lot more involved in the story. Though they may not have any personal involvement in the demon hunting plotline, the smaller stakes storylines that involve them have a lot of drama in them, which helps to create a lot of tension in the many story arcs throughout the series. It was pretty cool watching these side characters grow and develop in their own way as the series went on. The aforementioned woman from before, for example, becomes a world famous pop star and the love interest to the main character. Speaking of the main character Richard, I bet you think that in this city filled to the brim with a-holes, he's the only one with a properly functioning moral compass? Nah, he's just as bad as the rest, but at the same time, deep down, he's a good guy, though he easily falls to the sins of the flesh. Despite the fact that he's a jerk most of the time, he does step up to handle things when shit begins to hit the fan. At the start of the series, he's more of a reactionary main character, only acting when things are done to him. But as his relationship with Siri grows, he becomes a more active main character. In fact, she's his sole motivation for hunting down the demons since they're after her. Keep in mind that he's just an average guy who's got nothing but his fists, so most of the time when he gets into action, the odds are usually against him. But he's always able to pull through at the end of the day. By the end of the first season, he becomes a man truly worthy of your respect, if the boxing tournament arc hadn't already won you over yet. He really puts the Chad in Richard. The last thing I want to talk about that makes Lastman so unique is in its art and animation style. The art really leans into the comic book art style, which makes sense cause the series is based off a comic book series of the same name. Fun fact, the animated show is actually a prequel to the comic series. The art really shines when it comes to exaggerating the characters and their expressions. The thick black shading helps to make the rather simplistic character designs feel a lot more dynamic, and I love every bit of it. The animation on the other hand is quite special. Most of the scenes are rather limited, more so than your average anime. Characters remain pretty static in most scenes, with the only thing really moving being their mouths. It may come off as low budget to many who see it. There's a simple rigidness to them that anyone will be able to notice. It's reminiscent of video game cutscenes from the early 2000s, but don't get me wrong, I'm not saying this as a bad thing. It gives the show a very unique charm, and it gets even better when the action kicks in. There are moments of fluid movement, but for most of the action, it's often still frames. It'd be so easy to make a slideshow joke here, but that isn't the case. The action gets really dynamic with its poses and camera angles, making them feel really intense, and with every hit that connects, you can feel a lot of the weight and impact behind them. It also helps that thanks to the limited animation, the characters are always able to remain detailed no matter what scene they're in, even when they're getting their faces punched out. The art really carries the series and produces some of the hypest moments I have ever seen in adult animation. Also, a fun little tidbit about the show is that it was actually produced thanks to crowdfunding, so I guess they really made full use of whatever budget they were able to acquire. For something all the way from 2016, this show was way ahead of its time in terms of animation, taking full advantage of their limitations to create something really fun. I would love to see a lot more shows adopting this kind of style, or maybe it's a French exclusive thing, but I'll say it, this has left me wanting to see more from France, so if you have any recommendations, let me know in the comments below. But yeah, Lastman is an incredible show that I think more people need to see. If you want something with a lot of mystery and insane plot reveals, or maybe something to switch your brain off to, this is definitely the show for you. It's got 2 seasons out with 31 episodes, so it's very much bingeable, so maybe go give it a try. As always, this has been your very favorite slice of bread. Stay toasty.